my first rule, even for myself, is follow your heart. So follow your heart. I'm trying to follow mine. I'm trying to understand what it tells me at times when it's not very clear.
Taly Dunevich, thank you so much for joining me on 20 Minute Leaders.
Thank you for having me.
So fun to have you. Just before we started the call, I discovered that you were a world champion bronze medalist in windsurfing.
That's true. It was when I was very, very young. I'm not actually practicing that anymore, but yeah,
And you were
it was
you were the
fun.
Israeli national champion for quite some time as well.
Yes, yes.
Unbelievable. First of all, let's start with that. Tell me, what is it like being a national champion of a sport? And actually, Israel, with the beach and the waves. I mean, a lot
Yeah.
of people surf, so it's not just like a random sport that you picked up. It's pretty popular. And then, what is it like going to the World Championship and actually getting a medal?
That's an amazing feeling to get a medal and to compete against world champions. It was a great experience. I was a girl back then. I was in high school and then in the army. This is the times when I was actually doing that, and just being among the team, the Israeli team, which was I was the only woman. Still the only woman in everything I'm currently doing in many areas in my life, but back then I was the only woman in the Israeli team, and when we went to competitions around the world, I was kind of sleeping with guys in the room. They were taking showers. They didn't even notice I was actually a woman. They kind of missed that. So I was really part of. It was very unique time, and I actually think it really helps me today because today I always find myself also the only woman in the room in most business environments. I'm in IT kind of, so um, I feel very comfortable because I grew up this way. So I'm already very, very comfortable being with, a room or an ocean or a sea or Mediterranean sea full of men. So it was fun.
Unbelievable. So, yeah, so you're not just an executive in a tech company, but you're actually executive in a deep technology tech company, Ayehu Software and Technologies. I mean, it's leveraging artificial intelligence and machine learning to do some really fantastic things. And being an
Yeah.
executive there and vice president of strategic partnerships and alliances, I mean, you're talking about really understanding the technology, but also understanding the other people and the other in other companies, and I guess in a similar industry, which still today is still unfortunately dominated by male counterparts, right?
Yeah.
And
So
is that changing, or is that sort of the norm? And where do you see this? What do you see happening now in this in this
I see
domain?
a change. I see more women, not enough in leadership positions. I see them more kind of, coming up as developers and program managers. You see more and more of them,
Yeah.
and I'm inviting more women and girls and join
Of
to
course, of
join
course.
them.
By the way, Tali, I have to tell you because I got so excited today. This is not relevant to our conversation, but I discovered coconut water in the US today. I never had
Okay.
it in my life in Israel, and I'm obsessed with it. So these interviews, I'm only drinking coconut water.
It's really, really good coconut water. It actually has a lot of electrolytes and everything that you need for your body. If you work out and everything, it's really, really good. When I
I,
went to Burning Man, this is the one thing I really packed. My entire RV was full with coconut water because I was told that this is a good thing to have in Burning Man when you're not really taking care of your nutrition
Wonderful,
well enough.
wonderful. Okay, so right before we started, you're an expert on building alliances and relationships, and what I
Yeah.
mentioned was that I like talking about the things that the guest or the leader is passionate about, and you
Yeah.
immediately said, "I'm not passionate about alliances. I'm passionate about people." Tell me what that means to you.
So alliances is a piece of paper where you write like who's doing what, right? So I'm not passionate about papers and words too much. I'm more passionate about, I'm very privileged to be doing day in and day out what I love doing. And I meet people, and I meet people from different cultures and different backgrounds. I work a lot with India, which is like huge, and I just love it. And people in Europe and the Nordics and Israel and North America. So I work with all cultures. And I just love, the platform or the agenda is a business agenda, but just meeting people, and understanding where they come from, what drives them, what beliefs they come from. This is what I'm very fascinated about human beings in general. So my work allows me to kind of explore more my area of passion, which is people. And through that, when you are really interested, when you're really curious in people and what they're looking for and what they want to get, I think it's a great way to really accomplish, what you're also, want to do, for business, like to get the results, to get the bottom line, to get revenues, because you can really build. I really care. I really like, very, very fast. I build relationship of trust with people because I really care and I really love, I love them. There's no other ways to say that. It may sound corny, but
no. It's
really
incredible.
Love people.
It's incredible, and actually, right as we're having this discussion, we're talking about an internship program for the fund that we're both involved with, J Ventures, and going through the details and seeing how passionate you are, and helping the future generation and how they are going to be integrated within and learn from the fund and the things that we're doing. I think that speaks exactly to what you're describing here. And I want to take you back a few years. Talk to me a little bit about how you form these relationships in a business setting. So, these are not just friends, they're business friends that you're forming alliances and relationships. My imagination, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, you want to form a business relationship, you hop on a plane, you go over there, you visit the offices, you go out to dinner, you go out to a Broadway show, and you talk and you slowly build that trust. Is that fairly accurate?
I never took anyone to a Broadway show, I have
then
to
you
say.
But that's the whole point. That's why you do it, no?
And no, you don't have. I don't. I know that. Yeah, it's typical to say that salespeople will take you dine and wine you and all this stuff. I do that to some extent, but not really. It's really like even through Zoom, you don't need to take them to fancy places or anything. Just really speaking to people and understanding where they come from, finding the common ground. You always have something in common with another person.
Right.
Really fast, if you're curious enough, you'll find what it is and you can build from there. And then you have the initial connection. And once you have that, you learn more about each other. And we're all just humans. Even if we come from different backgrounds, there is so much in common. There is more in common than not in common. And just, you take down the barriers. And then you can, when you have trust and you have connection, you can build anything with it. So just human connection. I don't know.
No. I mean, it sounds great, but now I want to take us to 2020.
Yeah.
The great 2020 that everybody likes to say.
Yeah.
And we're in sort of the middle of the year now, or a little bit more than the middle. And how do you build relationships? I joined a company, a wonderful, wonderful company, Hippo Insurance. I did my entire onboarding remotely. I met one person from my team in person. The rest are only through video. How can I, or how should I build a meaningful relationship with my colleagues over remote? Is it different? Is it easier or harder?
So this is not the only form of communication. Yes, so we use a lot of Zoom, and you go onto video calls. I think it's a very it's a great medium to connect deeply with people. We sit, like, we really look at each other when the camera is on and not off, and people really look at each other in the eyes. I think it's very, very close. I don't see a lot of difference. Sometimes it's even an advantage. When we're in a room of people, sometimes, some people are not really related to the call or to the meeting. And I see disadvantage and advantages to this medium. I don't find it harder to do business over Zoom than I've done meeting face to face.
And is that also true for meeting new people or forming new relationships?
Yes.
So I understand the transition from existing relationships, continuing them, but is that the same case also for finding new partners and getting to that same level of intimacy? Because you're missing a lot of your senses, right? You're missing smell, touch. You're basically only going based off of sound and look.
It's a good thing to miss the smell part.
Well, I would assume that when you go and build a business relationship, then you make an effort to smell.
The advantages, yeah.
No, so it's interesting because this is really counterintuitive to everything that I thought of what's happening today.
First of all, I have a lot of new relationships that I'm forming in the past 4 months when, I'm working from home now and I'm not traveling anywhere. So I've been forming, and in the process of forming, new relationship with new companies, with new managed service providers as large as size. And it's going really well. I'm actually more efficient because I'm sitting here all day, meeting after meeting. I can do more in the same amount of time. I don't need to travel anywhere. and I can be very, very focused on what I'm doing, and I have all my things here and my notes, and like I'm very, very organized, and I'm way more efficient. So I'm doing so much more activities per day because I'm not traveling, and I don't have even the office distractions. And I don't need to be nice to anyone around me and and have coffee with them during the day. I can just really focus on work, which I love doing, and I can do more, and I can have one-on-ones. And when I start relationship with somebody, I'm also connecting with them, via WhatsApp and starting other forms. And we are looking for, we're imagining the time, the day that we will actually be able to, I'm going to have dinner with them or something. So hopefully that will come soon.
No, I think it's fascinating how it impacts so many different facets of our work, and I definitely see the upside and the downside of having this new sort of norm. Take me a little bit about what does it mean to alliance building in terms of corporates. So you're part of a big organization that has IT services. Why are alliances important, and what are alliances actually in the tech world?
So it's really important. So specifically in my company, the alliances part represent over 60% of our revenues. So I'm responsible in my company for over 60%. And this is why it's so important. It really drives a lot of business, and it's way more efficient. So we have, in our company, we have direct team that is selling directly to the enterprise. And we have the partners team, which is my team, and we're selling through partners. So, and this part, with less people, we sell much more.
Right.
So it's more efficient. It's like opening the doors to more strategic long-term relationship versus just selling to one enterprise, then to another enterprise. When I form relationship with our partners, for example, the global GSIs of the world, like Accenture, Deloitte, Cognizant, Capgemini, just to name a few of the partners that I'm working with. So when I form this trusted relationship and we build the right go-to-market plan together, that opens the door for my company to get to 40 of their accounts. So in forming one large alliances, we can actually sell 40 licenses versus one by one. So this is the opportunity, and this is why it's so important. And I really believe that today, in SaaS companies, any company that's selling software today, partnership, I think it already is, it should be, it will be a more integral and big part of their business, because today it's all about the ecosystem. The ecosystem you build it around you. It's like the ISVs, the GSIs, all the different partners that you're strategically engaging with. And it's a win-win. It helps them, it helps us. It's all about working together and having like synergetic type of results out of that for both sides. It has to work for everyone.
No, so, that makes a lot of sense. And then do the relationships usually occur between key people in both organizations, or is it organization to organization? In other words, you're building a relationship now with another organization, let's say Deloitte, and then you're building it with key people there that are agreeing to this. Let's say tomorrow they're advancing to their next adventure. How difficult is it to make that transition of alliance to another person? Because you have to all of a sudden build trust and relationship with another person who has to decide whether to renew this relationship, to renew this partnership, right?
So when I'm building the relationship, so first, yes, we're building it with key people. So this is kind of top-down relationship. But I'm also, even during the sales cycle, I'm taking care of the bottom up as well. So making sure that their people are getting certified and trained on our software.
Okay.
Making sure I create demands on the different pockets, on the business level, but kind of one layer or two layers below that are actually taking care of their accounts. So making sure they understand the value and what it brings to their clients, making sure they really building the incentives for them to work with us. So when you build it with the top key people and with the business level, which is like the medium and director level that really manage accounts, and you build it also with the developers and operators and delivery people and service people on more the technical level enablement type of thing. So you're building it in all the levels in the right way with a very defined go-to-market plan
Right.
and KPIs, everybody are aligned around KPIs, and you just manage this entire process, then it's really you're getting very, very sticky. It's really hard to leave you, and it's actually no reason to leave you. And if
That's
you
so
also have their
interesting.
personal relationship, they will not just ditch you for some reason. You can identify if you have an issue with anything, and if there is any competition that is threatening you, and you
Of
can address
course.
it before.
No, of course. And
Yeah.
when I have an ambition to be a software engineer at a company, I go and I study computer science. I go online and I teach myself how to code in Python or Java or JavaScript. When
Yeah.
you want to be in alliances and partnerships, I don't believe there's a major for that. I don't believe there's an online textbook. Maybe there are some,
Yeah.
self-help books on Amazon, but it sounds like, it's a lot of like practice on the job and on the field. How do you prepare for a position like that? How do you even, set yourself up to go and become a
Yeah.
VP of that at a company?
That's an awesome question. I think the greatest university for the work that I do called life. So if you really and for me specifically, this is really an area that I love. I study, like, for my own fun on the side. I study brain science and consciousness and spirituality, and I have so much interest in, like, human beings and how we use this box here in the top of our body called brain, and how we can really maximize it and understand our beliefs and how it drives us. So specifically for me, I'm so interested in this area called people and how everything works in the universe altogether, that this is, I think, for me, is the best school, because everything, all the books that I'm reading, the podcasts that I'm listening to are around those areas, and I'm just
Of course.
that really helps me in work, I have to say.
But Taly, you're already a vice president at a huge company. How do you get to be a vice president of partnerships and alliances at a huge company? Because you need that break to be able to go and learn through life. Is it easy to get this break? Do you join, like, where do you start in order to get to that level?
It's the opposite of taking break of life to learn something. It's the opposite. It's the more you are engaging in life and the more you are busy. So I'm involved in many, many things. I'm involved in joint ventures, right? And now I'm helping, putting together the internship program.
Yes.
And through everything I do, and I'm involved in HighPowerWomen, and I'm involved in so many organizations. The more I'm involved, the more I have connections. I have an amazing Rolodex. I know a lot of people. I have a great
Right.
network. So that's access to just about everything. So anywhere I want to get to know this person, I can always get connected by somebody. People will always help me. I'm always, my door is always open to helping others, and I'm always, my mission in life kind of is to really help others grow in whatever they do. So I think the more you are engaged, you don't need to take a break to learn that. Actually, the other way
Right.
around. Be engaged, speak with people, network, be fully in the game of life, and that really helps those type of positions like business development and alliances.
And then how knowledgeable do you have to be, on the tech side of things to really understand? Because at the end,
Yeah.
you're sort of selling a product. You're not actually selling. You're finding ways to collaborate. But then you have to
No, it's
understand.
okay. I'm selling. I'm not hiding from.
No, no. Do you
I'm
you
actually.
consider it
Yeah.
selling? Because
Yeah.
oftentimes, because when I
Yeah.
think of alliances or partnerships, I think of, a win-win situation for both parties.
Well, it's true, but I've been compensated for bottom lines, for revenues that I actually bring to the company. So it's very, very measurable what I'm bringing.
Okay.
Like and it's on my paycheck. I can actually see how it's going, how I'm measured.
Okay.
So that's very much sales. That's very much aligned. So how do you have people, like, get to that? The tech side. So I'm not a techie. I'm not an engineer. I learned, I'm just learning everything. I feel when I have a gap, I just asking or learning or going on YouTube and reading and
Interesting.
understanding. And I always have, like, not always, but when, at some point in the processes, I am bringing a more, an engineer to actually join me to those calls
Right.
and answer the deep technical questions. But on the high level, I'm good enough, to
Definitely.
convey the benefits, the business outcomes, and to even run through a demo and be a bit technical to a degree, not
Of course.
all the way.
So it sounds like what you're saying is that, your strengths are your ability to really, to look at others, understand their needs, understand both technologically but also businessy, what does Ayehu Software Technologies provide, and then finding that a sweet spot of collaboration where you can provide the services to them, and then along the process later on you can provide that engineering input which can do a much deeper dive, which is not necessary when you're at first in the high level of what is this partnership that we're going to do.
Perfect.
Okay.
You answered that.
Okay, wonderful. Taly, what should I take away from this as a young entrepreneur as I go on my next venture? What do I need to know in terms of partnerships, alliances, maybe even just selling products to others?
I would say in general, I always my first rule, even for myself, is follow your heart. So follow your heart. I'm trying to follow mine. I'm trying to understand what it tells me at times when it's not very clear. This is the first, life advice. I think you'll be a great candidate for any business development position because you're such a people person.
Thank you.
Already, and you have no problem in just interacting with just about anybody in any level so you have everything you need. You just need the content to discuss about, which is for me, it's Ayehu today, tomorrow, I don't know, or yesterday it was something else. But it's the same thing. So you already have everything you need. You're perfect. If you're looking for something, let me know.
Wonderful. Thank you,
Taly.
Thank you very much, Taly. Before we leave, I have to ask you the most important question, my favorite question. 3 words that you would use to describe yourself or that any of your clients would use to describe Taly.
So I think the first thing that comes to mind is kind of what I said throughout the session. I'm a people person, so really loving people.
Yep.
And just, I'm really grateful to be able to do that every day.
Yep.
For many hours every day. A second thing, what can it be? So I'm a constant learner. I always learn new things, and growth and learning. I study quantum physics and consciousness and brain science, and I just love learning new things, not even related to my work. Everything becomes related at the end, by the way. Everything is getting connected. But I always I run every day. I always listen to audiobooks or podcasts or something. Or even when I take a shower, I'm just having something. What's
your favorite audiobook that you read recently?
I hit refresh by Satya Nadella. It's kind of a biography, which was really good, and it was referencing to growth mindset. By the way, speaking about growth, he was referencing a Stanford professor who wrote the book Mindset, and he really changed the entire culture in Microsoft around this approach.
Yes.
I don't know if you're familiar with that. So these were 2 great books that I've read recently, and
wonderful. Wait, and I need
the power of now. If you like spirituality,
definitely. I need the 3rd word. So I have people person. I have constant learner.
I would say I'm driven. So I'm involved in so many things. I just drive things, and my husband calls me my engine. I'm his engine. So I just like everything that I love. If it's work, driving business, driving sales. Helping J Ventures in the fund or anything else I'm involved, just driving things forward. I'm very task oriented to the degree that I'm trying to relax a little bit. So I would say those are the main 3 things.
Taly, toda rabba. Thank you very, very much, and stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.